In the next 7 minutes, I want to help you build your first high-level workflow from scratch. If you can choose a trigger and just select a couple different actions, you can build what most people think is advanced automation. Most important thing here is speed to lead. So if you're really, really quick to your leads, you can almost 2 to 5x your conversion. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so we're jumping into it right now. The recording is started, I think, on my screen, so we should be good to go. So let's just get some definitions out of the way. A workflow is just one trigger that starts things. It's a list of actions that run automatically in order. You can kind of think of it like a playbook your assistant runs every single time, even when you forget. So, and then just where it lives inside of your CRM, if you look here, you can go to your Launchpad and then go to automation. And inside automations, you'll automatically be taken to your workflows. And this is where you can start to create a workflow right here. You can build this from scratch. You can build it using AI, and then you can also use different recipes that they have already pre-built out for you. So it's kind of nice. So I just want to jump into it with you really quick. Let's just go create workflow. So like I said, you can start from scratch, build using AI, select from a template, import from a campaign. So there's a couple different options that you can take from here. So I just want to start from scratch with you guys. Okay, and usually I just kind of build automations on the fly. So like, I'm not going to build everything that I need beforehand because things just naturally come up while I'm building out the automations. So, and the good thing here is that High Level has recently come out with auto saving your automations, so you don't have to go and save over here. You can just go back to workflows and start building out the stuff that you need. So what I want to do today is I want to build a pre-approval call workflow with you. So what we advise a lot of clients to do is a pre-approval call. So a lot of the time people have a lot of struggle getting people to submit documentation. And it's always you following up like, hey, did you get this done? Did you get this done? And eventually they get it done after many, many weeks, or they kind of just ghost you. And so we wanted to resolve that by doing a pre-approval call. So initially what we do, this is kind of what we do with our ads clients, is they get on the initial kind of screening call is what we call it. You just ask them different questions and make sure they have the likelihood of qualifying and getting pre-approved. And then at that point, you schedule, we call it BAM FAM, and we get that from, if you've heard of Alex Hormozy, it's book a meeting from a meeting. And so right on that call, you book what's called a pre-approval call. And you book that out, 4 to 5 days in advance from the current day that you're talking to them. And you say to them, okay, let's get on this pre-approval call in 4 to 5 days. When we're on that call, we'll talk about your next steps and kind of what you actually qualify for. 3 days before that, I'm going to need you to submit your documentation. It's going to be required that you submit your documentation because I'm going to need some time to get you pre-approved. And so what we do there is we kind of create some, I call it cosmetic urgency, where we book a call about 5 days before or 5 days after, and then 3 days before the actual call. It creates this urgency in them, like, oh, I want to make sure that I actually come prepared to this call and submit my documentation, because no one really wants to come to a call unprepared. And so that helps them submit documentation faster. And so that's kind of the workflow that we want to build out today, is a pre-approval call workflow when you book that meeting with them. So of course, I'm just showing you how to create a workflow in general. But I do want to show you how to set up like a specific one so you have an actual use case to go off of. So first things first, the trigger. So like I said, a trigger is just something that starts everything. So if there's a form submitted or somebody books inside of a calendar or a tag is added, that acts as a trigger. So if a tag is added, then the rest of these things, the rest of these actions in order happen automatically. And so what I want to do first is, let's just say we book that pre-approval call with them. I want to add a new trigger. Let's see, appointment status. So Again, this is going to be really probably unfamiliar for you if you haven't built a workflow yourself. So what I kind of had done in the past when I was really just starting out with high level, I would just go through everything and I'd scroll through. I'd just try to test everything out. But over time, as I got really comfortable with it, I knew I could just search for triggers and, you know, different keywords. And the best thing is now you either have Go High Level Help Support, like all their documentation there, or ChatGPT has really helped with a lot of the advanced things that we're doing now, where if I don't know how to do something, I can just ask ChatGPT. So that's nice. Anyhow, you can scroll through this, really get to learn it. If you want to master automations, if you don't care to master automations, you can go to ChatGPT and, you know, look it up. But for our purposes, we're going to have the trigger be as soon as somebody books an appointment with us, we are going to have a list of actions trigger, or not trigger, a list of actions that fire automatically after the trigger. So there's a difference between appointment status and customer booked appointment. Customer booked appointment means that the actual customer booked the appointment themselves. So that means that you didn't actually book the appointment for them, if that makes sense. So it'd have to be like on their end. So I usually like to do appointment status, because then you can book the appointment for them, or the customer can also book it. And either way, it's going to pop up as, you know, somebody booked an appointment. So that'll be appointment status is confirmed. Event type, just leave that as normal. And then in calendar, we're going to do a pre-approval call workflow. We don't have that calendar, so this is what I said. Like, I like to build automations on the fly. So I'm just going to save that trigger. I can't have the in calendar filter yet because I don't have the right calendar, so I'll just save that trigger. Auto saved for me. I'm going to name this before anything, pre-approval call workflow. And then that should auto save, and then I'll go back to workflows, I'll go to settings, and I'll create my calendar here. So let's create the calendar, personal booking. Let's go pre-approval, call calendar. Okay, and I'll just assign myself to it. Auto created the custom URL. We got a 30-minute duration and booking availability. I'd probably want to customize that because I don't want to be available 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. So let's go through and make sure. I'm going to have this be my Google Meet. I'll try to just maybe go through this really quickly so we don't focus on calendar stuff. But I'll just leave that as is. And we'll do that. Let's go forms payment, yada yada. Okay, that looks good. So let's just hit save. Now that we have the calendar built, I can go back to, I'll just wait for this to save. Now that we have the calendar built, we can go back to automation, and then we can type in the top right here, pre-approval call workflow. And then I have that set up. So I'll go back to my trigger, and that's saved. So appointment status confirmed, but I want to make sure that's in calendar, pre-approval call calendar. So hit save trigger. Okay, so after I do the trigger, after I create that, I want a list of actions that are underneath the trigger that fire off. And so I have to kind of think in my mind, okay, what do I want to have happen to this particular contact if they book a pre-approval call with me? So I probably want them to get confirmation messages just right from the get-go. I want them to, 3 days before the event actually happens, I want them to get a reminder to submit their documentation saying something like, hey, let's do, you know, this is the final day of, you know, before I can get your documentation so you can come to the call pre-approved. And I want them to get reminders like the day before and like an hour before or something like that. So let's just roll through this. I probably would also want myself to get a notification just to make sure that that got booked and they're getting sent through the workflow. So I'll just send an internal notification, give me a text message, and the assigned user is myself. And so you can also select through like all users or custom number or a particular user. And then right here, I can type a message. So If I wanted to do custom values, so let's say you wanted inside of your automation for somebody to have their name inside of the automation, you can go to custom values and you can select contact. So that's the contact's information. Then I'll select full name. And that way, if John Smith books an appointment with me inside of my pre-approval call calendar, John Smith's name is going to appear here. John Smith, or the contact's name, just booked a pre-approval call with you for, and then I want to go to appointment. So there's a lot of different things you can do here. There's contact, user, appointment, calendar, so that's, I guess, just name, but we can go to appointment and then go to start date time to have it be the date and the time that the appointment's going to start. I'll do that internal notification, and then I will have the system immediately text, I'll just say John Smith. I want the system to text it like, hey, your pre-approval call has been booked with, and then I'll go user. So user is whoever is assigned to this particular contact. In this case, it's me. So I'll just hit user. Your pre-approval call has been booked with, I can do my full name, Christian Clark, and I'll do that appointment again, appointment, start date, time. And then I really like to do the reply Y to confirm and just leave it at that. This is just a side note, kind of a strategic approach to automations. When somebody books inside of a calendar, I really like to make it look like it's a doctor's office, because if you have somebody book an appointment with you and you try to make it overly personal, people really catch on to that. People are really smart, especially they're starting to catch up with what automations look like, even when it's hyper personalized. And so I really just like to have it look like a doctor's office. It's completely automated, and there's no kind of pressure there, I guess. So, and then what I want to have happen is I want to send 3 days before, I want to send the contact a message that says, hey, this is your last time to, or like, this is the final day to submit your documentation. So I'm going to create a wait step. So wait, let's go 3, and you can select between minutes, hours, and days. I'll do 3 days. Oh, actually what I've got to do is I've got to wait until before or after event start time or appointment time. So I will do that. Wait before 3 days, and I always leave that, skip all outbound communications, just in case if the timing of this wait step is already in the past. So I hit save action. I'm going to just name that 3 days. And then at that point, I'll send a text message. And what I can do here is I can select this little 3 ellipses icon. I can hit copy action, and I can just paste it right there. Now, of course, I don't want this messaging inside of there, but it helps me so I don't have to click the action, then type up SMS, and then add the action. It just makes it quicker. So what I want to probably do here is do a little reminder text message. I'll say reminder. Today is the final day to submit your application to be prepared for your pre-approval call with, and then I'll do the user full name again. So that would be me in this case. You have a pre-approval call. You have a pre-approval call in 3 days I'll do the appointment, start date, time again. Submit your application here. And then I would put my link in there. And then I can save action. And then what I want to do now is I want to send the same message over email, because if there's just more touch points, it'll just be much better for them. because some people look at text, most people do, but some really prefer email for this kind of thing. So we'll go subject is action requested. Let's capitalize requested. Action requested pre-approval. Just to give them a little sense of what the message is going to be like. And I'm just going to type A so I can save that. And then I'll just go here after I've typed my link in there. I'll copy it and then I'll paste it in here. And just as a normal structure for emails, you always start off with a hey or a hi, contact first name. I might even just do, so it's a little bit more formal. Like I said, it's more of like a doctor's office type of fill. So if I can do John, reminder, today's the final day to submit, and then I can do my email signature, which is nice. If you go to this custom values button right here, you can go to user, which is again me, signature, and it says user.email signature. So as long as I have my signature uploaded inside of the CRM, that will populate with my signature, and that auto saves for me, which is nice. And then it gives them that reminder, but one day before, I want to send them a reminder. So I'll do another wait step. I probably could have even done this little 3 ellipses icon, copy action, and just paste it down here, and then changed around the time delay to 1 day. But now that I already have it, I can just delete that. Delete action, there we go. So wait 1 day. I like to title most things. So, and then we can do a little reminder for them through SMS. I'll say, reminder, you have an appointment, and I'll just hit save action here so the action stays there, but I could just do, I could just copy this right here so I don't have to go through with at. I don't think I need anything more there. I'm trying to think. You could include the link to join, like if you have a Google link, Google Meet link, or like a Zoom link or Outlook, whatever that is. So I'll just say, here's the link to join. And I can go appointment, and it'll be the meeting location. And so I can hit save action. And let's just say you did like a phone number there. That would just pop up as the phone number. So, and then I'll do an email. So I'm just going to copy and paste that email. Copy action, paste below, and that autofills for me a reminder for your call. And I'll go ahead and just copy and paste this link, or this text right here. And I will leave my signature there. That was copy and pasted over. And let's just have this be the contact's first name again. Contact first name. Reminder, you have an appointment. Here's the link to join. Save action. And then really from there, that is the automation. I don't think, like, you can obviously customize this however you want. I just wanted to do kind of a simple automation to start off with. I have been looking, like I've built this automation out previously, and I've just been looking to the side right here on my other screen and just trying to mimic it. I have it it's a lot more advanced than this. So that's kind of the beauty of workflows, is you can make this so much more advanced, just custom to your needs. Just something to point out though is I would always keep like one goal in mind per workflow. So for example, on the flip side of this, if I had a pre-approval call workflow, and it reminded them of everything and confirmations, and then I just wanted to also add them to a nurture campaign, but I just like did a branch off if they didn't attend the pre-approval call workflow, if I branched off there and I just sent them down another nurture campaign inside of this workflow, it'd get really, really messy. And so if we can keep one goal for one automation, it just works a lot better. So anyhow, that's how you really build a workflow from scratch. I'll probably do other videos on how to build workflows using AI, and kind of work it out from there. But the last thing you want to do, or probably second to last thing you want to do, is make sure you hit publish and hit save. And then the last thing you want to do to make sure your workflow is actually optimized and working properly, better to say, is to hit this little test workflow button. And you can make sure you select a contact that you're okay with them receiving like test communications. So usually I just send it to myself. So I'll select Christian Clark and I'll hit run test. And then that will send them through the workflow. So I should start to see, the internal notifications, the text messages, and stuff like that. So let's refresh and make sure I actually got sent through. Let's see. Okay, perfect. So you'll notice, just because I have this event, like I should really technically be in this wait step right here, but I didn't actually book an appointment. And so it just sent me down to this wait one day. So it sent me the internal notification, the SMS and email, and I can go and confirm that in our conversations. I want to make sure that I actually have a phone number set up. So let's see. Yeah, so boom, looks like, yep, looks like I got all the follow-up automation to my actual number. So that looks good. That's pretty much everything you want to do with the workflow. So that's really how you go to the workflow section, create it from scratch, and kind of build it out from there. Like I said, it's very much customizable, and so you can make this advanced as you want. Like I said, I always like to do these little FAQ mini segments. So let me drag my screen over here. Where do I start a new workflow? You go to automations, then make sure you're in the workflows tab, and then hit create workflow, and you can start from scratch if you want total control. What's the difference between triggers and actions? Triggers start the workflow. Actions are the steps it takes in order every time that trigger happens. How do I branch the logic? We'll probably use that in a separate video. I didn't really go over that today, so I'll skip that one. But how do I turn my workflow on? Save it, then flip it from draft to publish. Draft equals nothing runs, and publish equals real leads enroll. Can AI just build it for me? Yes. In the workflow list, click build using AI and describe the journey you want. I'll do that in a separate video for you guys. So yeah, hopefully that video helps, and I will see you guys next week.